Greetings and welcome to Sexy Voices of Hollywood with your hosts Robert Taylor and
Yayoi Winfrey.
Every other week on this show, we'll present another sexy voice of Hollywood.
This week's guest is Sophia Stewart. Besides having a sexy Hollywood voice, Sophia is a talented writer who penned the book The Third Eye, which she says was the basis for the film The Matrix, and for which she was never paid nor credited.
You can find out more about Sophia by checking out her website, truthaboutmatrix.com. That link will be posted on our YouTube page, Sexy Voices of Hollywood. Welcome to the show, Sophia.
Yeah, hi. I'm glad to be here.
Such an honor to have you on. This is going to be exciting. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'd like to make some corrections here because I am the writer of The Matrix and Terminator, and I own the copyrights and the trademarks to prove it. And yes, it is based on my work because that all films have to have some type of source work.
Okay.
And The Third Eye book was actually created for movies. It wasn't written as a epic novel. A lot of people are very confused about that. I was at USC Film School. I have a degree in journalism, a double minor in law and psychology. So I was actually creating the work for films and comics, a comic book.
Okay, so can you explain exactly what happened between the time you wrote The Third Eye and when The Matrix actually appeared on screen?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I really didn't know anything about the Terminator until the FBI told me, and during their investigations in 2001, which is documented in the book, Third Eye book, which is selling an ebook on my website, truthaboutmatrix.com. I went to the Matrix movie, March 31st, 1999, the national release of The Matrix. I see my work on the screen. I'm kind of shocked because I hadn't sold it. Called up Warner Brothers April 1st, 1999, which is this month is coming full circle, 11 years ago.
Wow.
Right. Discovered that they had stolen it, the Wachowski brothers, and they offered to pay me immediately. And that's where a lot of people are very confused. Theft happens all the time in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
The reason why you guys don't get to hear about it is when people start calling the same way I did on April 1st, 1999, they often pay them and gag them. Once you start talking about it like in the media, you have to return the money. So this is why theft is so weird to you guys, but it's common to the industry.
Right.
It's very interesting, highly provocative.
I had a similar experience involving a lot less money in box office for the script that I co-wrote and was stolen and made into a feature film. So I understand what you mean, Sophia. Do you have some ideas of what aspiring writers can do to protect themselves?
Well, of course, I have copyrights. It doesn't make any difference. They still copyrighted work. The government is at fault for not protecting the people's copyright. That is the major problem because I can break it down to people quite simple in a formula. When you're bootlegging anything, that's stolen copyright. And when you're selling that bootlegged material or movies or whatever, script or books, that means you have no license, which means no trademarks, and equals to jail time. It's criminal copyright infringement. It is not infringement. And where a lot of people are very confused, if someone stole your car, you don't need a judge to award your car back to you unless you're mentally incapable of just coming and taking your car, because when you go through the VIN number, it traces it back to the title, and it shows who the owner is. That is what criminal copyright theft is. When you trace the copyright numbers, the paper trail takes you back to the source work. So you don't need a judge to award you your own film rights. That's yours because you took out that certificate, and your copyright work, they're going to be validated for 75 years. So a lot of people need to understand copyright laws.
Exactly.
They really are very confused about copyright laws. Copying is when somebody sees the DeLorean car that you just created with the doors going up, and they looked over in your yard and they decided to make one, and they went to the media and told the media that they created it and they were the owners. Then the judge has to decide who got it there first, who created the DeLorean car. And you can go through the copyrights again. The copyright is a paper trail that validates the owner. Now, that on it, or you took the datings off, you changed the color, you know, you did a whole lot of whatever to it, but you can't change the VIN number. The VIN number always shows who owns the title of the car. This is what people need to understand. They need to distinguish, first of all, when they start a case, if it's criminal or if it's copying. That determines what happens. Mine happened to be criminal, and a lot of people need to know that. It was criminal copyright infringement as opposed to copying.
Well, one of the things that the advice that's given to writers is to have a very powerful agent or attorney, somebody who's known in the industry, to present your material, you know, to a studio or to an interested producer, and that is supposed to give you some type of protection. Do you agree with that, or you think that?
I do not agree with that. It still will get stolen.
Mm-hmm.
People's work still have gotten stolen. There are crooked lawyers, crooked judges, just like it's dirty, crooked cops. You know, you can beat this system just like me. You don't got to go to court for somebody to award you something that belongs to you. All you simply have to do is take possession of the trademark and the copyright. And the person who stole from you can't do anything. And this is going to shock you guys, but Warner Brothers, the Wachowskis, James Cameron, never applied for the Terminator and the Matrix trademarks. I'm talking about Matrix 1 and Terminator 1 trademarks ever. Do you mind?
Well, speaking of which, you've also said that the last line in the Terminator, "I'll be back," is from your book, too. How is it the two blockbuster films were crafted from the same book? Were the same producers and studio involved in both?
Yeah, well, Warner Brothers was involved in the Terminator back in '84, and they continue to support Terminator, I think, 3. They gave them $125 million, I think, in '84. And they lied and said that they were only giving $125 million so that it wouldn't be released before Matrix 2 or 3, which is ludicrous. Nobody gets $125 million to get a start date. If you're given $125 million, then you're investing in that product. The problem that people need to learn is what a protective expression is, and knowing that that protective expression is protected by the copyright laws. When you look at the Matrix, the Terminator, and the Anti-Matrix, my protective expression of the man versus the machines, where machines enslaved mankind, the evolution of consciousness, the second coming of Christ, is in all 3 of the movies' introduction. And that is what makes me the author. That's right, author work, the source work. Harlan Ellison, James Cameron put in Harlan Ellison and my copyright. He stole from Harlan Ellison, Demon with the Glass Hand and Soldier, trying to cover up the fact that I created the original concept. Because everybody knew that James Cameron was not a good director and he couldn't write at all. When you look at his movie treatment, it's simply listed right out of my 6-page movie treatment. The language, everything. So all he did was register me and Harlan Ellison's copyrights in. He paid Harlan Ellison $85,000 because he only used a little bit of his work to cover. And he gagged Harlan Ellison with another $5,000 to be quiet. Well, this is the deal. If you don't correct the application that you put in with the government, you have no copyright. It's fraud on the government. And the Wachowski brothers, they only put in a napkin. They pulled a Houdini and a Milli Vanilli on the people.
A Milli Vanilli, huh?
Nothing. They created no characters, no graphics, no storyline, absolutely nothing. They have a napkin with Matrix on it, and you can't copyright a title. Besides, it's still the interpretation of my work, because Matrix is Latin for womb, coming out of the womb. That the one would be coming out of the womb of the woman, Sarah Connor.
How did they try to pay you off? That I find that part to be quite thought-provoking. You said they try to pay you off immediately?
They offered me like $5 to $7 million. And who are going to, you know, I was doing taxes when I was 11 years old. I scored a 98 on the IRS exam. You know what I'm talking about? And I got a double minor in law. I have, a minor in law. I was taught by the Brooklyn and Manhattan lawyers, so I know how to count. I'm owed billions of dollars, which I'm getting ready to collect very shortly here. And I'm going to be in the news. They pay up or they go to jail. That's where they're at right now. Everybody's been playing their